Before we begin, please like, comment, and subscribe. Join our growing family of folktale lovers.
Linda had always been different, not just different in the way a quiet child might be or the way a shy one avoids the crowd. No, Linda was strange in a way no one could explain. In her family of 10, everyone had their place, their role, their normal. Everyone except Linda. Her mother often whispered, "That girl is not ordinary." Her father prayed longer whenever she passed. Her 6 brothers teased her, but there was fear in their laughter. And her little sister Anna would stare at her sometimes as if watching something only she could see. Linda didn't blame them. She too knew something about her wasn't right. She had a face people didn't forget, soft, pale skin, eyes too sharp for her age, and hair so long it brushed the small of her back. There was something haunting about her beauty, like a melody you couldn't stop hearing once it played. But what made her truly strange wasn't her looks, it was the dreams. Since she was little, Linda had always dreamt of snakes. They didn't frighten her. In fact, they felt like friends. Sometimes they coiled around her feet, sometimes they slithered across her arms, whispering softly in voices she could almost understand. She never told anyone what they said, but she always woke up calm, never afraid. Then came the nights when she didn't just dream of them, she saw them. At midnight she would open her eyes and see them around her bed, glowing faintly in the dark, their bodies winding like rivers made of light. Yet when she blinked they were gone. Once when she was 6, her father found a snake curled beside her pillow. He had shouted in fear, calling everyone, but the snake didn't move. It just lifted its head and stared at Linda as if waiting for her to wake. When he struck it dead with a stick, Linda screamed awake with tears streaming down her face, crying for almost an hour, saying over and over again, "Why did you hurt it? It wasn't going to bite me." After that, her parents took her to every church they could find. Pastors laid hands on her, prophets anointed her, and everyone said the same thing: Linda had a serpent spirit. They prayed, they fasted, and for a few days Linda seemed normal. But soon the dreams returned, stronger than before. Years passed. By 16, Linda had grown into a quiet, mysterious girl at Brainiac's secondary school. She didn't talk much, didn't have many friends, and she preferred to sit alone beneath the mango tree behind the school. Her classmates avoided her except the boys. The boys couldn't help themselves. It was as if something about Linda pulled them in. They would stop talking mid-sentence just to watch her walk by. Some would offer to carry her bag, others would leave small gifts on her desk. She never accepted any of them, but it didn't matter, the more she refused, the more they wanted her. And the girls, they hated her. They whispered behind her back, calling her Snake Girl. Some swore they saw her eyes flash golden in the sunlight. Others said she talked to herself under her breath, and when they passed by, the air felt strange, like it shifted around her. Linda didn't care. She had learned long ago that she wasn't like everyone else. But lately something new had begun to happen. Sometimes when she looked into a mirror, she thought she saw something move behind her, something scaly, something alive. Her reflection would flicker for just a second, and her eyes would gleam like those of a snake. And then there were the whispers. They came when she was alone, soft, sweet, familiar. "Daughter of the deep, the time is near." Linda would cover her ears, but the voices only grew louder. One day during lunch break, she sat beneath her favorite tree trying to eat in peace. The sun was high, and a group of boys sat not far away, laughing and glancing at her. She ignored them until one of them, a tall boy named David, walked up to her with a smile. He held out a bottle of juice. "You've not eaten all day, take it." Linda shook her head. "I'm fine." But David didn't move. "Please, you look pale." She hesitated, then took the bottle, smiling faintly. "Thank you." The moment her fingers touched his, David froze. His smile vanished. His eyes widened as if he saw something behind her. Slowly he stepped back, dropping the juice. Your eyes," he whispered, trembling. They just turned green." The bottle rolled away, spilling red juice onto the dry sand. Linda blinked. "What are you talking about?" But David was already running, shouting her name as if he'd seen a ghost. Everyone turned to look. The school compound fell silent. Linda sat still, staring at her hands. They felt warm, alive. Beneath her skin, she thought she saw something move, something winding and golden. Then, from somewhere deep inside her, a voice whispered again, clearer this time, almost smiling, "It has begun." Linda looked up slowly, and for the first time in her life, she was afraid of herself. The voice echoed in Linda's mind long after that day at school. It has begun. Those words haunted her. She stopped eating, barely slept, and jumped at every small sound. At night she could feel invisible eyes watching her. Even when she prayed, the whispers never stopped. One night the whole family sat together in the living room. For once Linda was laughing. Her father had just cracked one of his old jokes. Her mother smiled warmly, happy to see her daughter laughing again, and her little sister Sophie was trying to imitate their mother's voice. The air was filled with warmth and joy, something that hadn't happened in a long time. But just when the night felt perfect, a sound drifted in from outside. A slow, deep drumbeat. It was soft at first, like a whisper, calm, steady, almost beautiful. But there was something strange about it. Each beat felt alive, almost as if the drum itself breathed between the sounds. Then the rhythm changed. It slithered. Linda's laughter faded. Her hands began to tremble. Without warning, her body started moving gently at first, then with strange, flowing motions, bending in ways no human body should. The rhythm of her dance matched the rhythm of the drum. Her family stared in confusion. Her brothers laughed at first, clapping. "Linda, you can dance," one said, grinning. But when they saw her face, their smiles faded. Her eyes were blank, glowing faintly, not human anymore. Her skin shimmered like sunlight on water, and her hair seemed to come alive, moving softly, waving like it was underwater. "Linda," her mother cried. "Linda, stop it." But Linda didn't hear. Her body bent and turned in a strange, graceful motion, as if she was listening to a song only she could understand. Panic filled the room. Her father rushed to hold her, but the moment he touched her, he stumbled back, her skin burned hot like fire. Her mother screamed for help and called the pastor, a man named Pastor James, who had been preaching nearby. Within minutes, he rushed to their home. When he reached the gate, his eyes widened. There, standing outside the house, were women dressed in scaly silver garments. They were barefoot, holding drums, their faces calm but their eyes cold. They were dancing slowly, their gaze fixed on the house. Not once did they blink. He felt the air grow heavy. Pastor James knew what they were. He stepped inside and saw Linda still moving in that strange way. Without hesitation, he began to pray in tongues loudly. His voice shook the room as he called on heaven. "Father, take control." The family dropped to their knees, joining him. Suddenly, Linda screamed. Her body fell to the ground, twisting, her fingers clawing at the floor as she hissed and writhed like something trapped between two worlds. The drums outside grew faster, louder, wilder. Pastor James lifted his voice. "I command you to stop in the name of Jesus." The sound stopped instantly. Linda went limp on the floor, her chest rising and falling fast. Her family rushed to her side. The pastor ordered them to give her water. As she sipped weakly, he looked at her parents and spoke with calm but serious eyes. Then he sat quietly for a moment, breathing deeply before speaking. "God showed me this child's trouble," he said softly. And I was going to come today even before you called me." They all listened in silence. "Her name," he said, "is the key. The name Linda means serpent in an ancient tongue. That name opened a door, a spiritual tie that has followed her since birth. You have unknowingly called her serpent all her life, and the spirit behind that name has claimed her as its own." Her mother gasped. Her father looked like the ground had just vanished beneath him. The pastor nodded slowly. "Yes, and her strange dreams, her beauty, the way men desire her, all are marks of that spirit." He turned to Linda's mother. "How did you choose that name?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. I saw it in my dream before she was born. I thought it was from God." The pastor closed his eyes briefly. It was not from God. It was from the one who had been waiting for her, the one who has followed her since before birth, the Serpent King. He desires her as his bride. In 3 days he planned to take her fully. He went ahead and told them what he had seen at their gate that night. "The women in white," he continued slowly, "are not of light as they appeared. They belong to the same dark kingdom as the serpent spirit that possessed Linda. They came to honor. They came to worship and pay homage to their soon-to-be queen." The room fell into heavy silence. Linda's father held his wife, whispering softly to calm her. The younger children began to cry, terrified. The eldest son spoke, trembling. "Sir, what can we do?" Pastor James stood up. "There is no battle God cannot win," he said firmly. "But we must fight, tonight, because they will come. He has waited too long to lose her easily." The younger children began to cry in terror, but their mother wiped their tears. "We will not lose her," she said with quiet strength. "The first thing we must do," he said, "is change her name. That is where her deliverance begins." Her father placed his trembling hand on her head. "From this day," he said, voice breaking, "you are no longer Linda, your name is Deborah." Pastor James smiled faintly and prayed over her. "This new name shall stand. Every covenant attached to the old one is broken. Let the heavens record it, the old has passed away. A new name is written." And then they began to sing, soft at first, then louder. Songs of faith, songs of power. Deborah joined them, tears streaming down her face. But as the worship rose, so did the darkness outside. The air turned cold. Strange hissing sounds echoed from the windows. The lights flickered. Deborah screamed as she fell to the floor again, twisting as if something was trying to pull her away. Outside, loud hisses filled the compound, dozens, maybe hundreds. The family kept praying through their fear. The little ones cried, but their brothers held them tight. Deborah's mother's voice rose above the storm, full of pain and strength. "I will not give you my daughter. You may have deceived me, but not again. I carried her in my womb for 9 months, and she belongs to God, not you." Thunder rumbled outside, shaking the walls. Then the youngest child screamed, pointing at the door. There stood a figure, tall, dark. His skin shimmered like scales under the lightning. His hair was white as snow. His eyes were slitted, glowing gold. A black cobra curled lazily around his shoulders, its hood wide, its tongue flicking. Everyone froze. He said nothing. He only stared at Deborah. His presence filled the room like cold smoke. Pastor James raised his voice again, praying with all his strength. The family followed, trembling but loud. And then a new voice joined them, deep, powerful, echoing from outside. It prayed in a tongue none of them understood, but its presence filled the house like light. The Serpent King stepped back, startled. His snake began to hiss violently. The hissing outside grew louder, painful, desperate, and then silence. The Serpent King dropped to his knees, clutching his chest, groaning in agony. He looked at Deborah one last time, his face full of rage and sorrow, and then disappeared into thin air. Silence fell. Only the sound of heavy breathing filled the room. Pastor James raised his hands and began to sing softly. The family joined, voices shaky but full of relief. Deborah slowly opened her eyes, weak but free. Her glow was gone. Her eyes were normal again. Her brother helped her to sit up. The eldest son went to the window and peered into the night. "Who was that praying outside?" he whispered. Pastor James smiled gently. "It was no man, that was an angel of the Lord. Heaven fought beside us tonight." Deborah's father nodded, still shaken. "I saw fear in that being's eyes when the voice began. He was terrified." "Darkness always fears light," the pastor said. "He will never return, but you must live wisely. Keep your faith strong. Never open the door again to what God has closed." The family nodded, tears of gratitude in their eyes. Cora, the youngest, whispered, "He was so scary." "Yes," the pastor said gently. "Remember, little one, no matter how frightening the darkness looks, it will always flee from the light." That night peace returned to their home. From that day Deborah's life changed completely. Her beauty became gentle, natural, no longer strange or unsettling. Men still admired her, but not with the same wild desire. She found real friends and laughter again. And for the first time since she was a child, she slept without dreaming of snakes.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another captivating story. See you in the next one.